Turn that.
Thank you so very much. What a pleasure to share this with you all, to have you here for the very first viewing of this film. I appreciate your response. Thank you very much. There were times when I was by myself out there in the field, and it appears that there was another person running the camera, and there wasn't, like when I was in the film. But Zeke and Pooh and lots of other folks that are here tonight helped me with this, and everybody that toted a camera or came on one of the trips, please stand up, please. One thing that occurred to me last evening when I was taking one final look at that movie before deciding that it was okay to show it, I used the term eyeballs when I was talking about the eyes of the owls. Their eyes are not round, they're more tubular shaped, and that's another reason that they don't move, is because of their shape. And so there was just a habit. Eyeballs. So during the narration, I just said eyeballs. So I wanted you to know that. Do you have any questions, quickly? Yes?
Watching the owls, when they're looking at their young, they seem to pull their heads back and look at them, a lot like I do reading the paper in the morning. Do they have poor vision up close?
They don't have poor vision up close, but what they're doing is that because of the structure of the eyes, the rods and cones are situated kind of high up in the top of the eye and the retina part. And when they do that and they kind of close their eyes, they have really good vision looking down like that, but they're sort of shading their eyeballs from the sun, and then it helps them see their young a little better. You're welcome. Anything else?
How do you tell the difference between a long-eared owl and a horned owl?
Well, first of all, did you say great horned and long-eared? Okay. Great horned are bigger, a lot bigger, and then when you take a look at the heads comparatively, and you're looking at those ear tufts, the ones on the long-eared owl are kind of longer and wispier, and their faces are more narrow. Does that help? A little bit? It takes practice. It takes practice, and if you saw them side by side, it would help a lot. It's hard when they're not side by side. We all have that issue with size, don't we? Yes. First of all, Aunt Margaret up here asked me how many different hawk owls did I film, and it was only one, but probably 11 times. Yes, Roger.
The movie and everything is just fabulous.
Thank you.
But we have a little granddaughter that loves owls.
Yes.
When can we buy this film?
Tonight. Back there, Marion will be glad to sell you a copy of this. And I think, I'll tell you what, I made this deliberately to appeal to all ages of folks, because it's important that children love nature, they get fascinated by nature, and they want to go out preserve nature and see nature, and I deliberately used the word poop. Because kids love the word poop. And I could have put in a lot of pooping owls, but I only put in one. Yes, Cheryl.
We had a beautiful barn owl dead in our front yard in Rupert. And I called Fish and Game to see if they were interested about it, and I asked them about why that owl would be dead and they said 2 reasons: was decon.
Decon is terrible.
With mice, and they said that the owls sometimes dive too low and crash it. Can you respond to
That
those
can
comments?
happen. Just a split second of mistiming in terms of figuring out exactly where that critter is can result in a crash, and they break their necks. Anything else? You want to know anything else about the making of the film or any more about owls? Yes. Seriously, I used a lot of slow motion in the film so that you could really see what was happening. For sure. And our burrowing owls will be back in our area about the 3rd week in March is when we start seeing them. But yeah, the mating, they start hooting and carrying on in January and February, and usually by the end of February they're brooding. And that takes 28 to 36 days. Interesting thing is that I also read that insects are least attracted to the color purple, and it would help a lot if we painted our wind turbines purple, because one thing that happens around wind turbines is that insects are coming there and hanging around about them, and then the passerines and other birds that eat bugs are going there, and that's one of the ways that they're getting sucked into the vortexes around the blades and they die. So at least we should be having purple ones. And we should, I'm not against wind turbines. I think we have to develop alternative forms of energy. I'm mostly in favor of conservation of energy sources. But we have to be really careful about where we put these things. What good is it going to do us if we lose populations of migratory birds in order to get some energy? So we have to be smart, and we've got to start thinking about the design a little more. Your questions are great. Let's have one more. If there is one. Yes.
Do you know if there's any difference between the existing turbines that we have now versus the egg beater turbines that they're developing in terms of the safety for the predators?
Well, I've read some information that says that the egg beater types are going to be a little safer.
Good. Okay.
But still have to be very careful about where they're placed, I think.
Okay.
That there's an interesting case in Ohio right now. They managed to get one stopped. They were going to put wind turbines along the area that's by McGee Marsh, and the place where all migratory birds funnel before they cross over Lake Erie and head up to Canada. And what happened was a couple of conservation organizations, including the Black Swamp Observatory, Bird Observatory, got together and they filed a lawsuit, and it's now stopped. So the courts are going to decide whether they're going to allow them to make a wind turbine farm right there in that area, migratory path.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. All right. It was awfully lovely of you to come here this evening, and thank you so much for your applause. It means so much to me. And if you have any questions, anytime during the festival, please come up and talk to me. Join me sometime on a tour to Costa Rica or Peru or some other wonderful place. And if it's not pouring out rain out there, we're going to go on an owl prowl in a little while, in about a half an hour.
We're going rain or shine.
Oh, we're going rain or shine. Okay. So thank you again very much. Thank you.
That was fabulous. Before we disorganize here, we've got a few announcements.